Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into Session 10, which is all about exit metrics. We're going to be exploring a modernized, highly structured approach to employee offboarding. Look, if you've ever watched top talent walk out the door and felt like you didn't truly understand the mechanics behind why it happened, well, you're absolutely in the right place. We're going to break down exactly how modern organizations are completely shifting their perspective on departures. So, let's just tackle the elephant in the room. How can we actually transform the loss of an employee into a measurable, actionable asset? I mean, for decades, businesses have viewed employee departures as a pure deficit, right? Someone leaves and boom, it's just a gap you've got to fill. But the whole nature of exit metrics is rapidly evolving. We're no longer just looking at a simple, painful headcount reduction. We're literally looking at a gold mine of information, provided we know how to extract it. We really need to shift our mindset from seeing it as a loss to seeing it as leverage. And honestly, that mindset shift is perfectly encapsulated right here in our source material. It says, attrition analyzed, AI captures insights, exits become data-driven. Now, it's a super short quote, but it is incredibly dense with meaning. In fact, this single progression acts as our complete roadmap for today's explainer. It highlights a really clear three-part transformation journey. We start with raw attrition, we introduce a technological catalyst, and then we arrive at a completely revolutionized data-driven exit strategy. So let's take this apart, piece by piece, and really understand the architecture of this whole idea. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, analyzing employee attrition. This is our baseline event. The absolutely crucial point here is that attrition shouldn't just be viewed as a negative loss. Actually, scratch that. It needs to be viewed as an essential event that kicks off a vital process of discovery. It's the trigger. In any scientific or analytical process, you need a trigger, right? When an employee decides to leave, that is your trigger. Instead of a door closing, we need to think of it as a file opening. If we don't grab onto this moment and systematically analyze it, all that value just walks right out the door with the employee. We've got to capture the data at its point of origin. By pausing to deliberately analyze that raw attrition, we strip away all the subjectivity. Let's be real, human departures are often super emotional. They get clouded by interpersonal dynamics or frustrations with a specific manager, but by actively analyzing the attrition, we force a pause. It's like putting the messy reality of someone leaving a job under a microscope so we can separate the noise from the actual signal. This active analysis is what allows us to bypass the emotion and find the structural truths about our organization's culture and daily operations. Moving right along to Section 2, AI captures new insights. This is the catalyst. Okay, here is where the real transformation happens. Artificial intelligence acts as the primary mechanism to capture those nuanced insights that almost always get lost in human translation. Think about your standard exit interview for a second. They're usually pretty awkward, employees tend to hold back, or HR reps might unconsciously filter the feedback based on their own biases. Research actually points out that up to 70% of actionable feedback can just vanish or get watered down in standard, unassisted exit interviews. AI is a real game changer here. It instantly analyzes language patterns and sentiment across hundreds of interviews. It spots those recurring phrases, things like a lack of upward growth or unclear expectations, that a human might have completely missed or just brushed off. It captures the invisible insights, totally bias-free. So now we've got a really clear progression. First, the event. Attrition occurs. It's unavoidable. Second, the action. We make the conscious choice to deliberately analyze that departure. And third, the catalyst. AI steps in to capture the hidden insights. Applying AI here is the critical bridge. It bridges the gap between a simple, painful headcount reduction on a spreadsheet and the extraction of deep, actionable organizational intelligence. Because without this AI catalyst, you basically just have a pile of exit interview notes. But with it, you have a diagnostic tool for your entire company. And that brings us to our final stage, Section 3. Exits become data-driven. Just look at the stark contrast here. On one side, you have raw attrition. That's the old reality, right? It's unanalyzed turnover, it's totally reactionary, it's a huge mystery why people are leaving, and honestly, it relies way too heavily on guesswork. On the other side, data-driven exits. This is the new reality. This is where offboarding becomes an objective, data-driven science. You aren't just guessing why a certain department has high turnover anymore. You have the AI-captured insights telling you exactly what the systemic issues are. You're transforming a massive human resources headache into a strategic dashboard that leadership can actually use to make structural, lasting improvements. So here is the complete architecture laid out as a repeatable system. Step 1, analyze attrition. Step 2, capture insights with AI.
And step 3, utilize data-driven exits. We move from the initial physical event of a departure, we push it through the technological catalyst of artificial intelligence, and we finally arrive at a modernized, highly functional system of exit metrics. It's a perfect closed loop of learning. Every single exit feeds back into the system, making the organization smarter and way more resilient for the future.
To wrap up this explainer, I really want you to chew on this question. Now that AI captures these insights, what will your new data-driven exit metrics reveal about the future of your organization? Seriously, what blind spots is it going to uncover for you? Think about how applying this specific roadmap will fundamentally change the way you view employee exits moving forward. Because a departure is no longer the end of a story, it's the exact data points you need to write a better next chapter. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer on session 10. Keep analyzing, keep capturing those insights, and go build a smarter, more data-driven future.